I'm Jacqueline Blade. I'm from Conejo Valley Village in Westlake Village, California, which is about 50 miles north of Los Angeles, downtown Los Angeles. We are 8 years old and we have about 150 members and currently using Club Express, but we are planning to transition over to Helpful Village. So I'm trying to get as much information as I can before we do that.
Good. Thank you, Jacqueline.
Yes, hello. My name is Rudy. I'm from Cheverly Village in Maryland, and we use Helpful Village, and I'm a new board member and trying to learn as much as possible about the site and what its capabilities are.
Great. Thank you, Rudy.
And I'm Harvey Nordze from Glens Falls, New York. We also are using Club Express at this point and considering switching over. And we're just about to start a trial, but I just want more information. That's why I joined for today.
That's good. Perfect. And that may be it, because maybe also we answer questions for our customers. So I think everyone else on the call is already a customer, so they can say something, but they don't have to. So I think we're gonna get this session started. First thing is that I'm gonna ask, basically our team shared the Google Doc on the chat. So if you wanna open it and have a look, you see the list of questions. I will start sharing my screen and then go over those questions. I like usually sharing my screen also and doing on demo to support my answer. You can participate if you have questions, particularly related to what I'm showing. I want to make sure that everything is clear when I answer and that we fully cover one topic. But then also we want to have kind of respect the order of incoming messages. So please try to get your questions and interactions on topic about what the initial question was. So first question, let's start. First question is Elizabeth Petruziello, a village on the hill, Columbus, Ohio. Looking forward to the Q&A later today. I don't know if Elizabeth is with us. Hope so. She was looking forward to it. And she's resurrecting a village. So they had a village in Columbus, and then now they have new blood and new energy, and so they're reactivating. So that's really cool. It has over 200 people in the system, which is good. Most of these are people that are inactive. So basically, you can create a person in the database. Inactive means essentially that they're not members. I have been directed to essentially ignore them and start fresh by adding those with whom I'm engaging currently. My question is, leaving them in the system going to negatively affect any reports generated from Helpful Village? And if so, what would you suggest? Okay, so I like that question. So let me start showing this on demo. So these are demo site that I like using for demonstrating things. And I'm already logged in here as an admin, okay? So as an admin, I have the possibility to search for a person and do these different things. First, if these people were in the database, but they are no longer members, I agree. I don't think they're bothered. If you want us to delete people, we can delete some records, but I really, these people have had interactions with the system. Maybe they attended some of the events, and that information can be relevant, even if they're not active members right now. It may be people that can be interested in becoming a member again in the future or something like that. So the first thing that I would say is that it doesn't mess up with the reports. So you go down here, go admin, people management, and here, well, you have, for example, active members. These people that you had there that are no longer members, they are not going to be messing with the number of active members you have right now. They will be somewhere else, right? And then you have here active members. Similarly, you can come to active volunteers. If they are no longer volunteering, well, they are not messing up with you. They are not messing with your reports. Now, if they are no longer volunteering, well, you should definitely open up their record and then set them as non-active volunteers so that they are not there. For example, imagine in this case, right, we have Brit, and we think that we had 224 volunteers. We think that she's no longer an active volunteer. You should look her up. You look here, you see these dots here. This means that she's not an active member, and this means also green means that she's an active volunteer, right? And this red dot here means that she's not an active member. So if you believe that this is an old record that is no longer volunteering, you can come down here You can say, okay, this is no longer a screen volunteer, and if you have a volunteer end date or something, you can add that information. But basically, this checkbox here is really important, screen volunteer. If you remove that and you save, suddenly this person is not an active volunteer, not an active member, and she will not be present anymore in the list of active volunteers because she's not an active volunteer anymore. So in that way, if you change the status of their membership or their volunteer activities, they will not be messing with any of these active lists that you use for your everyday interactions. Similarly, if you're creating a service request, um, well, the person is not a member anymore, right? So if I go here, Brittany, and I try to search her, what is not found because she's not an active member, right? Some of the services, in particular service requests, are services that are only there for members. So people can be in the background and not hurt your day-to-day operations. Now, we still recommend not deleting them because even here, if you cannot find the person, Brittany, on the new service request, so she's no longer an active member. She's not present on the active members or active volunteers list. You can still, if this person comes back and knocks on your door, say, well, Brittany, what's your name? Oh, Brittany, let me just check on the system. Oh, that's kind of funny. I have a new person entering the room. I think it's he's
Uh,
actually that asked the question.
could you not create a class?
Sorry, repeat that. Oh, Harvey, I think you got muted. Sorry. Let me Harvey, we're not hearing you, but you can Harvey, I can
Uh,
now I can hear you. Yes.
could you not create a class of inactive members if they're no longer paying dues or doing active volunteering?
Yes. So when you come here, right, you have former members. So if it was a former members, they will be present in that list. So that's exactly what we want, right? You can still find them or you can still search them, right? So I found Brit Abernathy. She's not an active member and volunteer, but she's there because if she wants to become a new member now, right? Then I have an idea of all the activities or the events or service requests that she did or the previous membership information. So we prefer not deleting the information because that having historical information about this person can be useful for your future operations. Also, when you go down here, you have reports and you have all these reporting docs. Well, you have reports of active members, of expiring members, of volunteers activities, of active volunteers. If they're just a person, they are not on those reports. So I don't see how they disrupt your operation. So I would delete a person or archive the person if this person should have never existed, right? If it's a record that is in a duplicate or something like that, yeah, I would recommend deleting them. But if it's just people that are not active members, I would still leave them in the system as findable, right? Because you can search for them and they're not bothering your operations. And I wonder if Elizabeth just joined the call just now because we got someone in from the and we got an Elizabeth coming in from the waiting list.
Hi, yes.
We're discussing your question, but you just
Thank you. Yeah, sorry, I was late. I couldn't kind of trying to multitask here. But
so I cannot repeat the whole information because we have been discussing it for 10 minutes and there is other people on the call, but the webinar is recorded, right? And
excellent. Perfect. Thank you.
I just can summarize it for you in 2 seconds. It does not mess up your reports, right? Because you run reports for active members and active volunteer. A person that is no longer an active member or active volunteer and is not doing any service requests or anything like that, well, those numbers don't count. So they're just searchable in the database. I just showed here. I'm going to do it for a second. I cannot do 10 minutes, but I can do 10 seconds. If you search Brittany here, right, and I just changed her status, you see these red dots here. She's not an active member. She's not an active volunteer. So you can find her in the database if she decides to come back, which is also a good thing because you can maybe reach out to her, right? You want to find her there, but she's not met your report. That's why we think it's a good idea to not delete her. Okay?
Thank you. That sounds great. I'll
Okay.
go back to the webinar.
And we will send you
Recording.
recording so you get more detailed explanations. I'm sorry, just unlucky that you just
All good.
got for it. Okay, perfect. We move on to the next question. Leslie is on the call and she's an advanced user. So Leslie, maybe you want to read it because it's easier when you read the question.
Okay. So basically, this is about searching for people within an event. Like if I want to add somebody to an event and I go and I'm an admin and I go down to the bottom of the event and I click on, find member that I'm going to add to this event. And I want to search for a name that I know is pretty common.
Yeah.
So I don't want to just search for Carolyn because I'll get 20 Carolyns. Or if I don't want to search for Hill, I'll get 20 different Hills. So I tried searching Carolyn Hill thinking that would
Help.
lower the number, but in fact made it much worse. And then I got this long list that you see on the next page.
Right. I don't necessarily, I mean, it's here, right? I don't necessarily want to show
Yeah.
their names on the call. People can see it on their computers on the shared document. For those that
So, yeah, basically I understand that, if you search Hill could be part of another name, Phillips or whatever. But I feel like since I searched Carolyn Hill,
Mhm.
that she should have been on the top over
Yes.
a lot of other people. And especially since she's a member and we got whole bunch of non-members that showed up first. So that's
Yes. So, it's a great question. I can see the question 100%.
Yeah.
So obviously the question is a lot harder than it seems, but because what you're doing is interesting. Right now, our search query, you need to be sure that you find everyone that is related to that. So we're doing a number of different things. Most of the queries and searches that I do is with one word, right? Um, and then people type things in different ways. Because now, this is kind of an obvious example where there is two words. Sometimes people come in and they type three words, right? So first name, middle name, last name, or first name, last name, last name. So it's kind of complicated to fit it, search everywhere with all possible combinations. What I think we're doing is that we're searching if whatever you type, right? In this case, Carolyn Hill, if it is in any of the first names, in any of the last names, and then if we don't, and we're also doing kind of splitting the string, right? And then look for Carolyn as first name and Hill as a last name. Now, the whole question is not only where we're looking for, but what is the sorting mechanism, right? And the sorting mechanism is, we're not prioritizing the fact that you provided first and last name to show before the other results that are matching the query of saying, well, does it include Caroline or not? So yeah, I understand your question. Now, I don't have a perfect answer because I see your expectation about saying, well, I added, right, first name and last name, that should show first. I need to think about it, and maybe there is a way so we can show her higher in the search results, but still showing the rest of the people too. So I can, I can work on that. Maybe what I also wanted to give here is what is the best way to search in general. This kind of a tip and trick is kind of try to find in the last name or first name what is the least common thing, right? For example, if the person is called Carolyn Hitchhiker, right? Well, instead of searching Carolyn Hitchhiker with two words, I would only search Hitchhiker because it's kind of the most unique, right? It's what's gonna fit the.
That's what I usually do when I'm
I know.
thinking about it. If I would certainly search for hitchhiker.
Yeah,
but
I know.
So both
I know.
names were common. That's where I had the problem.
Exactly. So what I was gonna say is, so it's also for the other participants in the call, right? Because I know sometimes people are searching, right, and would say Caroline Hitchhiker and would add both words. And this is a good example of something that doesn't help because basically we're gonna include in the search results everyone that is called Caroline, everyone that has Hitchhiker, right, etc. So we have plenty of search results. It's actually better to only search the specific. And Leslie, I heard well. This is what you're doing, right? But just a tip for other people. Yeah, so that's that. And then obviously this is the most complicated case where there is nothing super specific, right? So in this case, both words are it's good. You're gonna have plenty of search results in Caroline. You're gonna have plenty of results on Hill, and you're gonna have plenty of results on Caroline Hill. So I don't see how to optimize this other than, well, I can check in the search results, and when we do the search, when we see two words, I can write some code, right? It's not doing it this way. I say, okay, let's try splitting and let's try finding if this is first name and last name. And if I find somebody in that way, I put that at the top. That would be a change that I can see could help in this case. Because you're being more specific, right? So we can try put that more specific search first. But these are
Manuel, thank you very much. Is it possible to search by phone number or email?
Yeah, that's a great question. That's another thing that is interesting. Obviously, it doesn't work in all cases,
Yeah.
right? Because you don't necessarily remember her phone number. But when
Yeah.
you're searching, right, I said the most unique thing is in the name. But if you do it from the phone number and you know her, or it's coming from somewhere, you can totally search phone numbers and emails, and then you're gonna find people with that. See, so that shows me, right? And this is my email address. Then if I go here and if I search with the email address, searching with the email address is really good too because they are unique in the database. So if I search with the email, it will automatically go to my profile because it's not an ambiguous search. So yeah, phone number, again, the most specific the better. Email is very specific. Hitchhiker is an unusual combination of letters, is good. But if you can't, lastly to you, actually, I don't have any other recommendation. I think you did the best possible. It's a tricky thing, and I can just try to see if I can modify the code so that in the case where there's two words, just prioritize.
So this is very complicated, but I'm a librarian background. So you use a Boolean and rather than an or.
Yeah, yeah, but then I still need to run a second query because if that's not who you're interested in, I still need to show the Carolines, the Hills, and stuff like that. But yeah, that's part of the solution. Yeah,
Yep. Okay. Thank you.
perfect. That was an advanced question with a with a less than perfect solution. Okay, we have another question. It's Pete Bardea that is also on the call. So Pete, if you wanna unmute and share, I know how to read, so I reassure you. But it's also more interactive when we have the people asking the question, just speaking for themselves.
We have a volunteer that manages our check-in process. The only way she can see the dashboard is she's an admin,
Yes.
but you've already fixed that.
Okay, cool. Yes. So I'm gonna share this question for other attendees, right? So this is the check-in module, which is a premium feature. So if you don't see it on your platform, is because it's something that can be activated. And then there is another thing that while I'm here, right, that is important, and is that when you search a person in the database, you all know this, right? Is that when you search a person and you're an admin, you can see the rights that they have associated with themselves, right? So basically, admin allows you to do everything on the website, but then sometimes you have people in your village that have a smaller part of responsibilities. If you have an events manager, that person should not have admin rights, but only events manager rights. So one thing we're thinking that could be interesting is in our check-in module, which I can also show you, right? If you go here, volunteers, check-ins, basically have a specific check-ins manager, right? That doesn't need to have all, full admin rights, but just the rights for the check-ins. By the way, we announced at the last webinar last week that there's some changes to the check-in module. So basically we have changed the way this attribution, this pairing between, basically the check-in module allows you to set up phone calls between a volunteer and a member and then schedule them with a given frequency. So there are some changes that happen there if you have not seen them. You should check our last webinar recording. That gives you a checkboard where you can see a dashboard, where you can see different phone calls that have been made. In this case, Anastasia was not feeling good this day. And then Christina, my sister, was feeling a lot better. So it's this rating with a 1 to 5. So 1 is not feeling good, 4 is feeling good. So you have an overview of who's doing okay on the phone calls or not. Anyways, we will do something more specific about check-ins, but this specific right was about the specific manager check-ins rights, which we want to do. So this is in my list. It's an improvement that is coming. I want to do it for next month.
But you've already implemented it. It already works.
Okay, cool. Perfect. Well, yeah, that's good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Pete. Okay, we go to the next one. There's a question from Zoom. Maybe that was a question they posted on Zoom or live during the meeting. That's what I understand. And there is Ava. Hello, I had to add a new category under membership type because I wasn't able to change the amount order under the current membership payment amount under the member's membership type. Wow. After the new membership type was created, renew membership disappeared. Ooh, wow. Okay, so the question is a little tricky, but I'm going to review membership types together. So people management settings, right? And then under admin settings, you can come membership, and then under membership, you can come to membership types. It's a little messy on demo, but basically here you can say that you have, let's see if we have a better example here. You can have any type of membership you want. For example, you have a membership type, household, monthly with these fees, another one with that other fee. subsidized membership for a different fee, super VIP pass with a fee, and this is the annual fee and the monthly fee for 12 months. This is a household membership, accepts up to 2 members, etc. So you can create as many membership types as you want. That's the first answer. And then, okay, this is interesting. Under the membership type, she changed. So, okay, now, next thing. If you take any of these membership types, this is a good example, right? Membership type that is called like this. Now, you cannot change the name here. And also, if you want to change the fees, you see here, the annual fees you can change. The monthly fee are not editable in this case, right? You can come down here, it's like, oh, I want to change it 30 because now we change our price, it's something else. The problem is like these membership types, right? For the monthly fees in particular, it's something where you can activate auto payment of the monthly fees. So you can have a member that sets up monthly payments. And in order to do the monthly payments, we need to synchronize the price of your membership with Stripe, which is the online, payment provider that we use. And then, we want to make sure basically that, if you come here and you cannot just change the number here because we need to change it here and on Stripe. Probably it's going to be easier if you're changing the prices of your membership, just as she did. Create a new membership type with a different name, which can be membership 2025, something like that, with a different price or new prices or something like that. You just change the name of your membership type and you set up the new price. Now, what she was saying is that when she did the right thing, right, creating a new membership type with the new fees structure, there are these buttons here under member, which are renew membership, right? And this comes with a one-time payment or renew membership or something like that, right? It's a possibility for your members to pay. Also, when you search the person, if I search myself, actually, there's too many Acevedos in here, so I prefer searching for Manuel, and this is me. Okay, if I go to member, right, I can set up monthly payments and I can renew my membership. These buttons here, they only appear if I'm on a membership type. Here, right, the membership type, if my membership type has active fees, right? So, for example, the button here to set up monthly payments only shows if the membership type I'm in, right, allows for monthly payments. Let me show that again. So if you go to admin, settings, and then I go to membership types, and then there's all these membership types. I'm on a household membership. You see here, it's like for each membership type, we're saying, are one-time payments enabled? This is the annual payment, and this checkbox is yes. If it is yes, then the button to renew the membership is present. And then are the monthly payments enabled? If the answer here for this specific membership type, the member is in. If it is authorized, well, the monthly buttons will be activated. So if you have a person for which you cannot pay, right, for their membership, it's probably because the membership type they're in has not been initialized, has not been set up with the proper, one-time fees or monthly fees, and they are not active. So what I think happened to this person is that the new membership type they created doesn't have this checkbox checked. If they check this checkbox and then save, well, then from that moment, the buttons show up in the membership tab. I don't know if Ava is on the call. I didn't see her. So I'm assuming that answers her question, and we move on to the next question. Question from Susan Bauer. Village Network of Petaluma, California. Is there a default Google Calendar time zone? I'm not sure I understand this question.
So
you're in the call?
I'm on the call, yes.
Perfect. Awesome. Great.
I don't remember asking this question, but if it was from Zoom, it was probably in relation to something you said during the last webinar. But what I think it is on an event,
yes,
when you're looking at the main page, you have a choice to add it to the Google Calendar.
Yes.
And I'm wondering what time zone is chosen for that add to Google Calendar.
Yes, that was the question, Susan. Yeah.
Absolutely. So I found the calendar, right? Any event on our calendar events, I did it pretty quickly. And Susan, if I'm with you, right here, there's these links where people can add this event to their Google Calendar.
Right.
And then this is set up for California. It's 2 p.m. So if I click on add to Google Calendar, it's going to create it 2 p.m., 3 p.m. Event.
So my question is, what time zone does that default to? Is it the same as the servers, the same as the Google Calendar?
Yeah, so we have each village is on their local time zone. Now, when we set up this thing, is that so two things can happen. So basically, it's a good question. So you see, so this is an event that is so this village, so each village has its on his time zone. So this 2 p.m. right, and download it. Now the next thing that I can do, actually the best way to go about it is just try it. So basically, let's go to a village in East Coast. So how about this one? Leave. Okay. Events, events list, volunteer meet and greet, and then add to Google Calendar. And it's 9:30 a.m. Eastern time. If I add it, it's 6:30 Pacific time. So yeah, time zone is set. So basically,
Okay, so it's using Google's default time zone. Got it.
uh,
And the information is being sent with it. The time zone information is being sent with it.
exactly.
Cool, thank you.
Exactly. So exactly. So totally.
And I had one comment that I threw into the chat regarding the searching feature,
Perfect.
because you were saying you were going to have to write some code for that.
Yes.
How about letting us add quotes to our search if we want it to be a Boolean and search?
Well, yeah, possibly. Now, a Boolean is not enough information yet because basically,
No,
still,
an and as opposed to an or search. So
yeah,
if we put quotes in, then it's an and search. So Carolyn Hill will
Yeah.
only match the person that has Hill and Carolyn in it. So Carolyn Phillips would match,
yeah, I don't think
but
it's simple.
all the others wouldn't.
Yeah, you know what I mean? But the thing is, there is always these cases that are more complicated because if you think about the specific case, right? Caroline Hill, it would match your specific. But if you say Marianne, you know, well then it's not first name and last name, right? And so it's kind of always all these combinations we need to search for is a lot more complicated. Right? If you have Marianne in two words, it's not first name and last name. Is both of them are in the first name. So
Right, but I mean, if you let the user control whether it's an and or an or search by like some flag like quotations around it, maybe that helps. I don't know.
yeah, totally. There's a balance between kind of
Yeah.
complexity and power, and it is interesting, but it's also it's not just like, oh, we do that and it solves our problems. It's like it solves one problem,
Yep.
it creates the other problems.
So I like the idea of search relevance being included in the sorting too. So thank you for that.
Perfect. Okay, makes sense. Let's move on to the next one. Next one is Nathan, and I think I saw Nathan on the call. So Nathan, if you're here, you can unmute and ask a question. And if you're not on the call, I'll do it. My question is, okay, well, I'll read it. My question is there a way to initiate automatic quarterly membership payments on HV similar to how villages can do monthly payments with a credit card or debit card? So here, and the short answer is no. So basically, if I search myself, is this demo? Yes. Manuel, and I find myself. Oh, I already showed the membership types, which is good because and it allows you to enter kind of an annual fee or a monthly fee. So actually, it's not an annual fee. Okay, I'm going to show you two things. But then when you come here in the member tab, right, you can activate this is the one-time fee or the monthly fee. And when you set up the monthly fee, well, then every month, like if I click on this button, you choose the date of the first payment, right? So it's going to be, by default, it's going to be today, but I can decide to say, no, I want to have my payments happening on the 24th. So this is the first of the day payment, and the next payment will be a month from now. So Nathan's question, I understand it, is settings, membership types. Is that when you create a membership type, Nathan is saying if you could do the following, then have here one-time payments, monthly payments, and then quarterly payments that you can activate or deactivate. It makes the system a lot more complicated. It's also trickier. So we don't do it just for the complexity. So in helpful village, it's not really possible to do it. We usually discourage villages. We had some people that were in quarterly, and we just tell them there's a lot more complications. If you do monthly, and the money is withdrawn from them automatically. There is another thing that I like is that if you come here, reports and then reporting docs, There is a report that I like a lot. I think villages don't use enough. Is the missing membership payments. If you request this report, right, it's calculating the members that are behind with their payments, either because they have not done their one-time payment or their monthly payment. We'll actually do a calculation. Say, okay, this person had the monthly payments activated. If we expect them to pay monthly every month, etc., are they behind or late, etc. So we try to do smart things, and if we do quarterly, well, that's not gonna work basically. So yeah, my general idea remains to basically discourage quarterly payment. It's not existing, and then if we wanted to do it, it's gonna complexify the calculation so much, and I'm not sure it's completely worth it. So I don't know, Nathan. I saw you're on the call, so I don't know if that answers your question. Technically, it's not impossible, but it's gonna, sometimes I think making things more complicated, right? We would need to create quarterly plans on Stripe, write some code that manages not monthly, but 3 months. Okay. It's like adding more complexity probably will create more problems and errors. It will break this report. So I kind of tend to say, well, just let's stick to annual or monthly. There is one thing though that I can say that when you create membership types, a recommendation in general, I hesitate to say this because I actually prefer when it's annual, but for each one of these membership types, you can actually decide for how long that is. We had this village in actually, what was it, Santa Fe, New Mexico, and they had people that came in the summer from Texas because apparently it was too hot in Texas, and then so it doesn't need to be 12 years; it's a one-time payment, right? But then again, here you're not gonna do a donation, a membership for 3 months, and then they need to renew every 3 months. That sounds weird too, so I wouldn't do it. So yeah, I would stick to annual and monthly if that answers your question. Okay, next question. We are moving from Pasadena to Washington D.C. No, it's not Washington D.C. It's the other Washington on the West Coast, and it's Kathy. I don't know if Kathy's on the call.
Yeah, good morning.
Oh, perfect. You want to read it?
Sure. So we'd like to send out our monthly newsletter as an email rather than a separate document that's attached to the email, because we're finding that people don't necessarily click further. They say, oh, yeah, I don't have the time to read that yet. So I know that we could configure a Google template for the email, but I'm not clear how to continue to have that work with Helpful Village and MailChimp.
Okay. Okay. I can show you a few things. Leslie is on the call. I don't know if you're aware of this, but basically one of the things that they have is like if you come here, and one way of doing it is the following. You can come and then you can events list. There is this automatic feature. I don't know if you're aware of this one too. And then, but you go to the bottom of your calendar, you can edit an intro text for weekly email. So you can activate you're aware of this one, right? So you can,
we have two things. We have the weekly email that goes out and just says these are the events that are happening, but we have a newsletter that kind of lets people know where we're at with our village. And
yeah, I think that's a good idea. Yes. The thing is like, how are you sending that newsletter? One thing you can do is you can always open up the email messenger, right? And you go from new email. And then you say here you want to send it depending to who you send it to. You can send it to all your active members, or probably what I would do is that I would go to tag list, and then from the tag list choose who you want to send it to. If this is a full MailChimp list, right? And then here you can compose the message, just type it here and then just send.
So,
right?
but the body?
Yes.
So we want the body to look
yes
appealing.
Yes.
So I don't know, I don't know, maybe other members, other villages have done this.
Yes.
So I will say, in addition to that weekly email Manuel just showed, we have another email we send every Monday. And the way I do it is I set up a template that I really like. And then every week I just go and I clone it and then put new information in it. So it's got the same look, but it's got new information. That's how I do it.
And that content is totally, I haven't played around with it. You can configure it in columns or however you want. I know you can put pictures, but
Yeah, there's a lot of templates you can use. You can that Helpful Village has included
Yeah.
that they've set up that you can use. Yeah.
Yes, you can do this, right? It's a two columns with different width. Well, there's different things you can do, right? So it's two columns with different width, with the same width, or three columns, and then you do all of these different things, and you add it, and then you can create this template, and then you can. I don't know if you're doing your template. Are you creating your template, Leslie, from the editable pages or directly here from the email messenger, which is the same. Both things work.
Well, what did I do? I did it a year ago. I can't even remember. But I just set up an email messenger message
Yeah. You can do
with
it.
everything I like, and then just clone it every week.
Oh, you're right. You're right. You can totally do that too. So it's basically if you come here, admin, and then email messenger. There are different ways to do it, right? I can go to my demo weekly email and then imagine that I like this setting, whatever. I can come here, I can say clone email. So you just need to do the design once, and then now I'm gonna edit the content, right? Because the content is gonna be different every week. So that's one way of doing it. Just take one, spend some time doing a good weekly email that you send out. It doesn't need to be a weekly; it can be a monthly newsletter, right? And then you just clone it and then update the content for each one of them.
so on the insert, can I insert
Mhm.
a Google template?
Yeah, that's not gonna work.
Okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
all right, thanks.
Yeah. Okay. Is there a way to do okay? We're trying to get our onboarding and resources streamlined. That's good. Is there an updated brief HV user guide for members? Some of our members request videos, some documentation, others both. To have a shorter get started with helpful village manual. Okay, this I like it. It's kind of a constant debate with our team. Anastasia and Paulina are on the call too. So you're aware of the we spend quite a lot of time on doing a detailed helpful village user guide, right? You're aware of that one. It's not a one for members. You're asking for a simpler one, right?
Yeah, specifically for members. I know the user guide we've been using a lot, but what we've started doing is we have like a bunch of how to do different, very common things
Yes.
that our members are asking for, how to edit your profile, how to upload your profile picture, how to request a service.
Yeah,
And so it'd be nice to have just a brief guide for new members.
yeah. No, it's a great idea. I think we should have that. It's kind of funny because I have seen sometimes I go to, some of our villages websites and they have set up their own, is what I'm saying, that are ready. So I'm sure some of them exist, but that people created for themselves. And maybe we can do this effort maybe from our team, right? Saying the villages, if they have done something, if they, I, yeah, either, yeah, it's kind of funny, not 100 villages should not reinvent the wheel to put that together themselves. So I think we should do something, right? And have this document added to as a resource. So I like the idea. That's all I can say. And then I'm asking my teammates that are on the call also to write it down to see, yeah, to put it on our to-do list to help members. And then I would also suggest, discussing with you and other villagers about what are the expectations, what should there be on that document. So if we work together, right, it's a lot easier if you tell us, well, we were thinking about adding this, and that, and then we discuss that with you, and we're happy to share it with all our customers. So yeah, that's a good point.
That would be wonderful. Thank you.
Like it. Also, I like it because it's not me doing that document. This is just a private joke, but it's kind of sometimes, a lot of people asking me to do some code and some changes, and that document can be done with some of my colleagues. So that's cool. Okay, we have a question from Greenwich in Connecticut. Is there any specific AIs you use or recommend more for marketing, fundraising, etc.? Thanks. It's a big and confusing gurus out there right now. Okay, cool. Definitely AI, big topic. Too big for our webinar today because we want to remain helpful, village specific. We use AI, not what I mean is that for our private use or searches, but everyone knows about them. So, well, ChatGPT, Gemini from Google, and there are other tools that we use sometimes. But yeah, I mean, those two are probably the most common ones. it's good. Also, I would make another comment. One is for the knowledge, another one is for the language. So definitely in our company, um, our English, you need to know, it's not as good as our emails. Sometimes we review our English with the help of AI, and that's good. But I don't have any more specific information about that. I would just I would go with ChatGPT and Gemini are the two by default kind of solutions. Gail from Sausalito. I think I saw Gail on the call. So Gail, do you wanna help us read this, or summarize the question? Cool. While I'm reading it. Mhm. Mhm. Okay, I'm reading this. It's a long email, but so cool. So I don't know if I give some context, but basically for other villages, because there is a possibility of using these neighborhoods, kind of breakdown of it's what we call hub and spoke, right? If you look at demo on our website, you don't need to. Most villages that start with us, right? They have one village and everyone is belonging to this one unit and everyone volunteer for one another and stuff like that. But some of our larger villages sometimes activate this other thing that we call hub and spoke, which is this possibility to break down your village in different geographical areas, right? If you look at this on demo here on New York, okay, here I'm getting closer in Manhattan, and then we have these village maps, and then you can show where the members are, right? The volunteers. If I remove the volunteers, I only see the members. And then you can have local villages. You see here, these different areas. I can actually open up here. And you have the name of the different neighborhoods, East Harlem, East River, East Side, etc. And then each one of them is a geographical area you draw. And then some of our villages, including Sausalito, they have a very good emergency preparedness plan where basically they say, well, for each neighborhood, there is a person that is here, there is a village captain or local coordinator, right? If there is an emergency situation, fire, earthquake, or something, well, this would be the person that can do some of these things. They can coordinate assistance or help locally. So it's a good idea to do hub and spoke and to break it down. If you're a big enough village, right? If you only have 50 members, we don't recommend, but if you have several hundreds, can be interesting. So that's just the context. So now the next thing is like we would like to have some reports for those captains. As part of emergency preparedness efforts, we'd like the captains review key topics with each member. That's super cool. Attach sample report for the floating homes. Copying the membership directory for each neighborhood and grouping. Downloading all active members, sorting by local village. Well, I mean, my first thought would be this one. Let me just check. Oh, God. No, wait. I don't know what happened, but I clicked on the wrong button here. So if I go Sausalito and then admin reports, and then reports, I do reporting docs. And then here, if you're looking at your active members, oh, okay. You can choose what are the different information you want to add to that report. And in one of that report, I don't know exactly here, but I imagine that there is a column of that report that has the local village or the neighborhood they are in. And then basically, I understand, Gail, you're filtering with Excel. Is what you're doing, yeah. Sorting by local village on Excel. Okay. Member directory for local village. Wow. Wait, what? Okay, in the Helpful Village Help Center, notice a membership directory report, but the system didn't prompt for a local village selection. Okay, member directory. Wow. Can I try that again? Member directory. Oh, no, I think I know what happens. Let me see. Settings, miscellaneous, config local village. Sorry, I went a little quick. But basically here I have admin, settings, selection, and then you have here the possibility to create these local villages. Here, for example, we have the floating homes. And you edit, there was a captain, and this one is active. So yeah, it is active. I thought, yeah, so Just I'm thinking at the same time that I'm sharing. So when you create the spokes, sometimes people create spokes that are there in preparation, right? And they are not ready for showtime yet. And so you can have them as not active. And if they're not active, they're not gonna be used in the reports while they're not active, right? So I just want to make sure that that one was available. And then if we go back to reports, reporting docs, there's a member directory, this one. For local village. Okay, that's interesting. And then when you pull that one, the wording is a little weird. What I think it does is that this option allows you to group them by local village or not. So I don't think it's just this label is confusing, right? So I agree, Gail. But I think what it's doing is that if you pull this report, it's going to put all the members, right, alphabetically. And then if you check this box, it's going to group them in the member directory report that is a PDF file organized by the local village or neighborhood they belong to. So it's not a filter, it's just a way in which the document is organized. Okay, so that answers that question. And then sometimes we ask captains to make deliveries, and so it would be helpful to generate reports sorted by street address. Well, okay, although we enter the street number in a separate field, all the reports displayed combined with the street name, occasionally separated them manually and sorted and by street name, but that's quite confusing. Okay. Okay, well, this is kind of an advanced question. It's hard to respond live on the webinar, so I think we're gonna take this question out, Gail, and then
Okay.
more time to think, and then get back to you with a more constructed response, because there is definitely something we need to think more than just it's too advanced for me, this question.
Okay, thank you.
No, no, no. I need to spend some time, thinking without 50 people watching me at the same time.
Yeah.
And we'll
No,
get
I spent a lot of time generating these reports, and then as we have, new members coming in, they're out of date immediately, and
No, it should be easy. I mean, I like a lot what you're doing. There is an emergency plan. Captains should be able to see who's in, and it should be easy to create the report with a few clicks, one, two, or a filter. But
yeah, we have a campaign going now where we're asking the captains to check with all their members to see if they have like Alert Marin set up,
Yep.
and
Totally.
going through all the emergency procedures.
Yeah. Okay. So I like that project a lot. So we need to make it easier for you to get, that report you need so that every captain knows the members there they have and should be. So I'm fully on board. I just need to, get back to you with a more structured response.
Okay, thank you.
And then we have a perfect transition because we have a question from South Coastal, Ocean Banks, Maryland. So funny. So I wonder if this is it's messing with me because I think this is Delaware, but maybe I'm wrong. Village volunteers. I don't know if Claudia is on the call. If she is, you can unmute and help us with this. But I'm gonna read it because I don't think she's on the call. Has been a spoke of villages, hub and spoke. So basically, there are two villages in Delaware that working together in two different areas of Delaware, and then one of them is just applied for a separate nonprofit. Cool. And then they're independent, but they want to continue to collaborate, particularly from grant money from Delaware and perhaps the federal government. And that looks great. So there are two villages that work together formally now. They're independent formally or legally, but they still want to collaborate. So I like that. With this as background, my question is: can two independent villages in the same state use Helpful Village together? So yes, the entire state has two hubs. Wow. Yes, it is possible. So it's the same thing that I just explained with with demo, where you can have two different geographical areas, and we do that. You can put people in one spoke. I don't know if I call it two hubs, but I would call it two spokes. Cost efficiencies, exactly. More described in your email. We could provide greater. So true. So basically, there are advantages to be collaborating together under one database, right? So basically, you have one system, and then people can be belonging to this specific neighborhood, and you can set up volunteer operations where you're requesting volunteers in one town that can look at filter and look at volunteer opportunities in that town and not the other one. So it is possible. Can you collaborate? Yes, you can collaborate. You just need to see if you're ready to do. These are some privacy questions, right? Suddenly, if you have all the information in the same database, you need, maybe it's okay with you, right? And saying, well, we have some sort of agreement. They're on the north, we're in the south. But if everyone is in the same database, right, all donations are kind of visible to both sides. If that's okay with you, it's good. If it's not okay with you, you can say, well, these are our donors. We really want to keep them separate and we don't want them to see. Well, then you want to have two separate platforms. So it is possible for us to do it. You just need to see if what we offer you in terms of having only one system is something you want to operate that way or not. You can also have, I mean, there's different modalities for hub and spoke. For example, in Washington, D.C., right, they have independent villages legally, they have independent databases, they still collaborate together because they get grants from the District of Columbia. The District of Columbia is asking for the same report. So basically, they work together to set up the report they want. Then they come to us. We write the code for once. They can divide the cost of that report among themselves. So there is also ways to collaborate together. For example, we were talking about this. We worked with DC on this taxonomy report on saying aggregating the numbers of reports. So they have different systems, but they can still add up the total number of members they have so that when they talk to their representatives or something, they have bigger numbers. So there are different specific flavors of hub and spoke. So is it possible? The answer, in short, is yes. You need to see if what is good for you, if the trade-off of one system with the amount of privacy you want to have for your operations is okay for you, or if it is not. So that's the short answer. Also, and then she's also interested in health outcomes data project. What are the key metrics and who is reviewing them? This is a neutral project, meaning non-political. So yes, neutral and non-political because it's a scientific project. So I don't think science should be one-sided. So the health outcomes data, we have not launched it, right? So we announced it at the conference. We need to do a big launch. We want to explain the details. So I cannot go into too much detail about this project. I can say a summary of what it is if you haven't heard of it. So basically, we have done a project by which Helpful Village has been basically interested in working with academia in saying, okay, how can we prove scientifically that being in a village is a good thing for your health, right? There are different ways to prove it, right? The easiest way to get there, we believe, is something that is called the UCLA loneliness scale. The UCLA loneliness scale is a popular system which allows you to measure how lonely a person feels. And basically what we're trying to show is that if we have a new member that is oncoming, right, where we can present them with, actually it's just a survey. It's kind of 20 questions, just not any random questions. So scientists and psychologists and all of that, they came up with 20 questions, right? And they have done the research and science to show that if you answer these 20 questions, it captures the amount of loneliness you feel. So these questions are very standard and scientific. Now, what is interesting for Helpful Village, we want to make sure we collect that information from the surveys. If the village wants to participate in this, the idea is kind of saying, well, if you have a new member joining, right, you present them with a survey, and we want to make that super easy with Helpful Village, right, so that you have the possibility to invite the member to respond when they join. And then if they respond to the same survey, just 20 questions, right? 6 months later, and then a year later, we're hoping to see that, over time, they feel less lonely because they are participating in all these social activities that you're doing. What are the key metrics? So the key metrics is that we could do different outcomes data. I just want to go with the most obvious one, which is this UCLA loneliness scale. And yes, it's kind of the standard. You present these 20 questions, and there is 5 answers, which is, for example, one of the questions is, how often in the last month have you felt happy? And then there is 5 possible answers, like often, less, more or less often, very often, etc. So people just respond to that. We're just capturing the answer to those survey questions, and then basically, those survey results is something that we want to present into an anonymized way, basically to the scientists, where basically they can say, well, we look at the numbers, applying this very well-known scientific formula for the UCLA loneliness scale, it shows that people are feeling less lonely. So that's kind of the idea of the project. Now, the whole point here is protecting the privacy of the members. So it's not about just this one specific person, but in aggregate, running this survey with hundreds of people, and then just looking at the results and seeing if people are less lonely over time. Now, this is a quick, short summary. I don't want to do a webinar today about health outcomes because it's something I think it deserves a full hour at least or more to discuss in depth and in detail about the project. So just avant-première about what it is about. But I'm also excited about that project.
Would be wonderful if we have opportunity to answer Robin's question. It's
Okay.
the last question at the document.
This one?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Robin,
She's here, so she could probably ask this question by herself if she would like to.
reaching the top of the hour also, so this probably should be the last question of today's of this month, and then next month we'll come back and we will make sure that we get Diane's questions in there, and then the rest. Oh, there are no other questions on the document. That's cool. Okay, Robin, do you want to read it?
Yeah, sure. It's sort of a general question. Specifically, we do things a bit differently in that our members don't go into the system directly. So some of those menu options that you show are not available, around renewing payments and those kinds of things. So I do all of that for them. And I've run into, it seems like some things that I've not seen before, and I'm trying to be careful and document, so that we have standard operating procedures for the way we use Helpful Village. But I'm particularly seeing, some quirkiness around, setting up sometimes the ACH payment. You have to be very careful, very step by step. And then as you and I have traded emails, and thank you for that, changing the payments. Like specifically, there's this subscription thing that keeps coming up, and I hadn't seen that before. And it looks like it's system generated, and I'm wondering if that's new. Or if there's some documentation I can look at to educate myself before I ask dumb questions.
So I like giving a little bit of, so there is your question, right? Before I answer it,
Yeah.
Giving some context for other people that were not in our conversation before.
Sure.
So let me start there. So basically, I showed the membership types before. If you look for a person, you can come here, then Manuel, and then when this person is paying for their membership dues, right? And they don't need to do it themselves. You can do it for them, and you can come here and say, well, I want to set up monthly payments, right? And then a membership that allows it. And I know you're doing this, and then here you can choose is credit card, ACH. For monthly payments, these are the two options. You can choose one or the other. And then if obviously if you have an ACH is a bank payment, by the way, just quickly, but kind of the benefits of each one of them. Credit card is immediate, right? So if you choose credit card, basically you know immediately that the payment is valid, and then the credit card company sends the money to Stripe and gets to your bank account 2 days later. So it's really quick. And then ACH, it is a little slower. It takes a few days, and then it even takes a few days to confirm. With the credit card, you know immediately if the funds are allocated from the credit card. So we know that, right? It's a successful payment. We can say it in a minute. With ACH, we make the request for 5 days, stays in a pending status, and then when the bank clears, basically we change the status to paid. So inherently, ACH is a little bit more complicated because it's kind of a slow system. I also need to say that ACH is cheaper. So basically, credit card has some fees, maybe 2.9% Stripe fees, and then ACH is 0.8. So it's a significant, savings for the village. The fees are a lot lower. Now, we need to check a few things. Obviously, when you're switching to one system to the other system, or if you have, for example, here, if you want to change with the credit card, one quirk that I know that you're mentioning, like you choose the date of the first payment, right? If we're setting membership payments, you can choose, and this is kind of the default. It's going to say, okay, we're going to start monthly payments, going to start from the day of today, right? But you can edit this. I said this before. You can start it on the 24th for whatever reason, right? I wanted the first payment of the monthly payment to start on the 24th. Or if I don't want the 24th, I can also say the next month. It doesn't matter. The system will take whatever date of the first payment you want. If it's on credit card, as I just explained, because it's kind of real time, the payment will happen exactly on that day because it's that quick. If you set it to automatic clearinghouse with the bank, the date that you use here is when you initiate the payment. So if you say here, and you can choose whatever date you want, you say, okay, I want to initiate the payment on the 24th, because the system is so slow, the money will, the payment will actually happen a lot later. A lot later is maybe 5 or 6 days. So if you, one of the quirks, but it's not us, it's just the banking system is that way. If you choose the 24th of October for the payment method, is the initiation time for the ACH, it will just hit the bank kind of 5 to 6 days later. So there's a quirk. It's just, I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, and we only have issues, and I'm documenting it carefully. When it goes from month to month, the bookkeeper gets kind of upset. So sometimes I'll just delay putting it in, just so that it doesn't, come into the wrong month.
I remember from one of our previous tickets, right, where
Yeah.
basically here you come here to monthly payments, you did set up monthly payments that I'm sure you did.
Yeah.
You set it up on a card, or I think it was a card or ACH, it doesn't matter. And then you click here, and then it created 2 subscriptions. So that was something weird.
Yeah.
That is a bug. You should not create it twice. Obviously, if you do it twice, I don't know how you got it there twice, actually, to be honest. I don't know if
Yeah.
it's double clicking or whatever, something weird that happened. Usually, you should not double click on any of the buttons. Even if you double click, I don't think it works. Let me try it, actually. Let me try double click this. I think I couldn't. Oh, wait, actually. Let me.
Oh, yeah, you have to put everything in.
Yeah. I also thought it was kind of ready to go, but it's not. It's good. It's asking for a credit card number. Okay, here. And then I don't know if I'm gonna try a double click. I'm gonna try to break it if I click.
Yeah.
But it already goes into processing, so oh God. Now it's fun for everybody. So it did.
Yeah, I just I noticed in the pay tab that I was getting things.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's mostly like where I'm seeing this is unusual circumstances, like following up on a failed payment. And then sometimes that changes, or they change their monthly, they went from associate to health, so it's always these exceptions where I'm having these issues, but I want to be able to repeat it and not have issues every time.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. I don't yeah. I don't know if there's documentation. Like I tried looking up failed payments, and the search didn't give me much. I
Yeah.
don't. Yeah.
I don't think we have, well, for specific, we have different training documents about how to use the feature, but not as detailed as you said on this edge case or something. And
Yeah.
probably edge case is probably, I mean, there's always a healthy way to get it done. For example, if you want to change the credit card number or add the bank, if for example, I know that if you go here to pay, you have all these buttons here at the bottom where you can add a new bank. And then if you need to change, you need to delete the bank first before you add another bank account. So definitely there is something about this, the order of the steps you take.
Right. Right.
So,
I'm wondering if.
so basically the best thing I can say is that while you're doing your documentation, right, you can work with our team. And then if you about, well, this, when I do it this way, it works well, and then we can document it. And if you're ready to share that, we're happy to add it to our documentation. And then if you come up with a case where you do some of these exceptional cases, weird, like I changed the credit card from here to there in this way, etc., and it didn't update correctly, obviously that's a bug we need to fix. But when you do it in an identifiable way, when it behaves in a weird way for one of the weird cases, you should definitely create a ticket, and we need to fix it.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm sorry for the bug. I know also because this is demo, right? Sometimes I run demos. I also do all these crazy things that you say, like add a credit card, then remove a bank account. So probably my profile is messed up. But it's a good question. Okay, awesome. So it's 12:08, and we said that was the last question of today. So maybe we just need to do one more thing. Is that I wanted to thank you all for being present with us. And it was really fun. I really enjoyed these Q&A sessions. We have frequent customers that are present, and they're used to the fast-paced kind of meetings. For those for whom this is the first meeting, Rudy, Jacqueline, and Harvey, you need to know that this is kind of an advanced meeting. We have people that have been using the platform for years, and they have very advanced questions, as you saw today. When you're a new village and you're starting, right, it's a different thing, right? We basically give you simple training docs. Just what I mean is that if you felt that today was too quick, it is too quick. We have some of the most advanced users of Helpful Village here. When we're working with you, we want to help you start from the beginning, right? And then set up basically user management and then membership management, then events, etc. And all of these super advanced questions is really not what you
Yeah,
want.
we've been using Helpful Village now for 4 or 5 years, so we're okay. I just wanted to see what the webinar was like, and I do have a specific question about a donate button that I will submit by email for the next webinar.
Perfect. That's great. So it's good to see you. You're always welcome to join. And then also
Thank you.
I just wanted to let you know that this is I mean, we answered to simpler questions also. Those get answered in these tickets and other ways. So don't
Sure.
need to be afraid for you don't be an expert to use Helpful Village. Is what I'm saying. It's like
Yes.
if you are a hey user, it all works for you, and then you can ask your question. That's totally fine.
It's working fine. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you, everybody. Have a good rest of your day, and then talk to you soon.
Thank you, everybody. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.